something that the Prime Minister said was not a problem, that John Bankers had done nothing, but now they need a bill to fix it up.
Mr. Speaker.
I call Tim McIndoe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Not for the first time, we've just been treated to crocodile tears and what could be described as creative rewriting of history by the member who has just resumed her seat. I grant you, sir, that she does mock outrage incredibly well. But let's just recall and point out to anybody who may be listening to this debate, and I know of at least two who are in Iraqi at this moment, that the 2011 local body elections were held less than 2 years after the current government came into office, and they were based on very loose provisions that were enacted in 2001 by the former Labor government, of which the member for Rongotai was a minister. And those particular provisions remained in place for the next decade, during which time the Labor Party and that member could have at any time moved to improve them, but they said and did nothing. Absolutely nothing for all of that time, and only when they came into opposition did they start to show an interest in making some reforms. Mr. Speaker, I want to acknowledge the current local government minister, the Honourable David Carter, who had only been in his current role for a matter of weeks when he announced a couple of months ago that the government would move to fix an issue that we all acknowledge has been a matter of public concern. It has attracted considerable media scrutiny and comment in the public arena in recent times. And I think all members of this House will acknowledge that change is needed. And so I do welcome the Labor Party's expression of support for this bill, and I hope that it will receive similar support from the minor parties who we'll hear from later in this debate. But as I say, let's just put on record the bunkum that we've just been exposed to, because for a decade or so the Labor Party could have done something to prevent the situation, and they did nothing. Mr. Speaker, I am the chair of the Justice and Electoral Committee, and I look forward to receiving this bill. As the Minister has indicated, it will be directed to our committee. I point out that it modernises local electoral law and will improve the transparency of local electoral donations. The whole purpose of the bill is to help restore and build public trust in the local electoral system. By and large, what we are trying to do is to achieve the same degree of public trust as exists for central government electoral laws of this type. It isn't possible entirely to blend the two, because some of the provisions for central government electoral law just don't fit around local body electoral laws, but as much as possible this particular bill will blend the two together, and I believe that that is to be welcomed, and indeed I know that many people have already commented on the fact that it is a change that should be broadly supported. So, Mr. Chair, I simply reiterate that the donation amendments will bring the Local Electoral Act closer into line with the Electoral Act for central government, that the concern that is out in the public arena at the moment about transparency and accountability of candidate donations, and particularly surrounding anonymous donations, is squarely tackled under this bill and should be rectified. I believe that this is a timely and appropriate measure. I again commend the Minister for bringing it forward and for the alacrity that he has directed to the task. I commend it to the House, and I hope that it will attract widespread support.
The Honourable Leanne Dalzell.
Mr. Speaker, sorry. I guess that I was a little bit surprised to hear that the Minister was described as having brought